Hey everyone! We watched a movie.
It's Wreck 2. It only took us 9 years. And by 9 years, I mean like 10 days.
I don't know, maybe a month at maximum. I know it wasn't a
Has it
month.
really been a month?
No. No, I can actually check how long it is. Anyway, we saw Wreck!
2.
Wreck the second. It was last month. But it was on the 29th. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so it's like 2 weeks.
Yep.
3 weeks. I don't know.
So Wreck 2 is a direct sequel. Taking place... I don't know, like half an hour after the first one ends.
It can't have been too long, but it was long enough for like...
They actually state in the movie when the what are they called, doctor person who went in, after he went in 70 minutes from then they had no contact, so at a maximum it's 70 minutes, but we know more happened in the film after they lost contact.
Yeah, right.
I'll just start this off. They changed kind of how like the found footage-y stuff was taken. And they had SWAT. It starts with SWAT teams, and they actually have like the SWAT headgear thing with the camera right beside their helmet.
They have helmet cams, and one of them has like a full-on camera.
And it makes it much more stable and easier to watch. Because they do a couple flips for like the helmet cam, but it's fairly stable for most of the movie, which is much needed, in my opinion.
A large improvement.
So, do you want to talk about the plot a little bit?
Well, the plot is they took the movie in a different direction. They took it in, well, I guess I shouldn't say that, but it was more of a supernatural thing than a zombie thing, although they'd really set it up that way from the start. As is pretty clear when you actually watch the thing.
I don't know if they actually did it from the start, but at the ending of the movie.
No, I mean, I just meant like from conception.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
obviously meant to be a two-parter.
Yeah. Especially with, and this is going to be a small spoiler to Rec 2. I'm sorry, Rec 1. At the end of it, there's a lot of demon possession talk and everything like that. And they go like really far into it in like the last 5-10 minutes of the movie. Because they find
they
find
lay
stuff.
down like nothing concrete, but they do hints, and the people are there like, "What the fuck?"
So
at the we get that within like the first 15 minutes of 2, so
yeah,
it's all good.
So they do confirm it. It is about demon possession. So I guess I'll say this. This is more going to be our thoughts on it, so I'm not going to say anything about spoilers. Like, just be prepared. These are our thoughts on the movie. So with it going through with the SWAT team, it's 4 people and a doctor go in. Quickly in it, you find out that it's not a doctor. I don't know, like 15 minutes in it, I think, you find out that it's actually a priest.
Well, that's skipping over some events.
Well, yeah, but I was just to say that, because I said doctor.
Right, okay, yeah. The doctor's actually a priest. And a fucking badass, by the way.
Hell yeah. Okay. We talked about how the, he wasn't the chief, but the firefighter.
The fireman tried.
Yeah. The fireman was a badass for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He's a kitten, and the priest is
the tiger.
Chuck Norris.
Okay.
He is badass.
Oh yeah.
He's a little frustrating at times, but he's like the reason to watch this.
Oh yeah. I think we can both agree the reason he's a little frustrating is because he doesn't explain it properly to the other guys, and you're like, come on, just like talk with him about it.
Yeah. At the beginning of the movie, they actually state that there were people inside. There's an infection. They say some kind of disease, and they actually do state that it has symptoms like rabies.
which is as close to zombies as you can get in real life, basically.
Now, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. When something is fully infected with rabies, there is no cure.
I think that is true because I think I read that when we looked it up last time after watching the first one.
Because I know that, this is all things that I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have facts to back it up off the top of my head. But when something gets bit by rabies, they have to like find the animal that did it and kill it. Or is that to check for rabies? I think that's to check for rabies, because the only way you can check for rabies is by, like, dissecting the brain. Because I think there is just a rabies shot if you catch it within, like, 24 hours.
I think it's more of a window than that, because otherwise rabies would be, like, something we'd all be much more worried about, you know?
Yeah, it
Like,
probably is.
I feel like rabies is on the same level as tetanus. Where, like, oh, got bit, better go get a shot, right?
Yeah.
It's not, like, something immediately dangerous.
I think it is within, like, 72 hours, though.
Well,
But I can't remember.
You're gonna get, if you get treated for a bite, they're gonna give you a rabies shot.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
So either way, it's, you need to get it taken care of. But I believe after a certain point, at least for animals, it is incurable. It's just kill them to put them down, to make them suffer less.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very least, and I know that in movies, horror movies especially, literally no one has ever seen TV. TV does not exist in movies unless it's the news exclusively.
Well, I mean, that's an unfair argument for the SWAT guys, because they're SWAT guys, they're realists. They're not going to be like, these are zombies.
Well, okay, but if it's rabies, and they're freaking out and attacking you, they're too far gone.
Right.
So, and this is mostly a joke as well as an actual statement. They're goners. Like, just kill them. Don't get bit.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, being put in that actual situation is different, but why would you send spec ops teams in, SWAT or whatever?
It's like the old joke, because I'd like to make a zombie movie where everyone does the right thing, but it'd be really boring.
No, because the tricky thing about zombies would actually be like, would you kill your own child?
Yeah, it's always stuff like that.
So you could make it more compelling that way, and the other way is, it's the same thing. People say, I don't need to learn any, like, hand-to-hand physical defense because I have a gun.
Right.
And then I've made the joke, because people always mock. I've done karate. People mock it, and it's like, do you have your gun on you right now? Well, no. What good is it to you?
You did.
You did. I won.
Oh, God, there's a really awesome scene in Punisher where he talks about how he'd rather be a guy with a knife, but that's diverging a little bit too far. Where were we at?
So we're talking about the fact that they're rabies, and they're, like, going in.
Okay, yeah, so they go in, we got, the head count is, we got 4 SWAT guys.
The camera guy is one of the SWAT, and then there's 3 others, and the priest.
The chief, Lara, Rosho is the camera guy, and Marcos?
Yeah, I don't remember any of the names.
Okay, well, I do. I don't remember. Did we ever get the priest's name? Probably not.
I don't know.
He was too cool to have a name.
His name is Father Priest.
They probably called him, like, Demon Bane or something back home.
Right. Alright, so, you know what? Let's actually hit a little bit less for people to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So, a little early on, they discover, one of the we're just gonna call them zombies, just for simplicity's sake. You good with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so they encounter one of the zombies, and, one of the SWAT guys gets bitten.
Marcos.
Yeah. And that was actually something I was fairly worried about, because
You can't tell the same story twice.
It was early.
Right.
It was like 15, 20 minutes into the film, and it's like, okay, look, are we going to lose them all? We don't have a big head count this time.
Yeah.
In fact, I literally said that as we were watching it. And then they actually like just move on and like continue. Because
hold on. I just want to pause for a second. The scene with the scene where they learn the doctor is actually a priest happens when that guy gets bit, and it's awesome.
Oh yeah. So
it's a really good scene.
The guy gets bit, and then they go back upstairs because they initially search the penthouse, and then they go upstairs. And
no, it's because Marcos is on his own.
Yeah, sorry. Well, no, Marcos was on.
He was checking out the music.
Yeah, but then he got. Oh, that's right. It was the feed. No, they saw him get bit and shoved him into a room.
No. Because by the time they got there, he was standing there infected.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant. Anyway, so they saw him infected. He attacks them. He shoves them away, and then the priest is like, "Marios toro, Marios toro," and it's like, what?
He does praying, and he starts praying in Spanish, and the I almost called it a demon. The zombie just stopped and like stared at him really creepily.
Yeah, he's like, and it's like,
and they shoved him in a room and stabbed the knife in the door and put a rosary over it.
Yep, it was like so cool, and they're like, because then they go upstairs at that point, I think, or not. Anyway, so at that point, like they're talking.
Upstairs. They'd come down to do that.
Yeah, but I thought they went back. Whatever.
They did.
So they're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he like pulls down his like.
He pulls down his little scarf.
He pulls over, and it's like, because the whole time I was like, "Oh my god, is this guy a priest? Please tell me this guy's a priest." And there's like he pulls it away, and I'm like, "Yes, he's got the collar on." Because what's the priest collar called?
I want to call it a vestment, but that's the robe.
Okay, whatever. So it's where like they have the black liner on it, and there's a little white bit in front, the typical priest thing. He's wearing that. Yep. And it's awesome. I love it. Yeah, because after we found out he was a priest, I was like, oh, is he gonna reveal it? Oh, please do it. I want him to be wearing that stupid collar.
Yeah.
And he was.
So, anyway, that's a really good scene, so you should watch the movie.
Oh, it's so good. Just to say it again, this is in Spanish. Watch it in Spanish. We didn't even bother looking at it in English, but watch it in Spanish. You watch it with subtitles. Mm-hmm. Most of the times they miss anything is in the beginning, because there's like all the SWAT guys are talking and it's nothing useful. Mm-hmm. And then when the father's praying, sometimes they ignore it. Mm-hmm. A couple scenes because people are talking and they're not going to have two layers of, at least the one we looked at.
Yeah, it was a good subtitle. It focused on what was important.
So to kind of skip forward a little bit, they go through a little bit and then they're
looking for a blood sample.
Yeah, so they're looking for the blood sample of the girl. So they actually like go back up to the attic, and I
hey, remember that attic in the first one where that guy stuck his camera up and twirled it around? It's back, and we do it again.
Yep. And there's little kids in there.
Well, not at first. Okay.
No. The attic where they saw the little kid.
Yeah. The first movie there's a little kid. We're kind of butchering the timeline here, but so just to put things in order, they were in the place looking around, and then they heard music turn on, so they sent the one guy downstairs. He got bit. That whole scene happens. But in between, or when they were still all up there, they'd opened up the attic and they poked the camera up and looked it around, and there was nothing in there. So they left the attic open, and then the whole thing where the guy got bit happened, and now we're coming back up.
So he goes up, and he sees a. Not yet, actually. They say continue searching because we have to find the blood sample.
And then
they see papers that are like depicting cases and stuff. And then there's a little and then the kid swings down
in the first movie.
The little kid who was in the attic swings down from the ceiling.
Yeah, it's like attack drops.
They manage to throw him off, and then he like jumps back up on the ceiling and like runs away backwards.
It's super creepy.
Ugh, I hate that. So then they shoot around. They blow a hole in the ceiling because he's up there.
Because they hear him thumping around up there.
Yeah. They also they hear him thumping up there. And also like the dust falling down.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is they blow a hole. He falls. This is where the priest becomes the coolest fucking character in the world.
They're pinning down the kid, and they're like, he's just a kid.
They pin down the kid.
Just...
They pin him
Go
down.
ahead.
He's like, it's okay. It's just a kid. It's just a kid. Don't do anything. Because the priest's like, shoot him in the fucking head, you dumbasses. And he's like, no, we can't do that. He just grabs the shotgun off the guy's back. Boom, head's gone.
But the voice line was cool because he's like, it's just a kid. And he goes, no, it's not.
Right. It was so cool. So, to touch on some other things, it's shortly after that one of the weakest parts of the film happens.
The kids.
No, there's actually another part. They after they shoot the guy, like more zombies are coming.
No, they send Lara up in the duct to get the blood sample,
Yeah.
and you have that whole fear scene, and there's a shit ton of child zombies up there, which they'd already kind of called because they'd found a bunch of files on other possessed children.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but then to like hit a little bit less, or a little less specific. Zombies come and they get separated from one of the guys, and he runs out of ammo because they just like
Larry.
flooding in.
okay, no, it's because he's fucking retarded and gets in panics. Sorry, not retarded. He panics. That's just it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, he actually does shoot. He's like, stay back, and then he just shoots. He doesn't get attacked initially. As soon as she lunges forward, he just starts shooting at her, and it's like...
I mean, to be fair,
okay.
the guy that blew away that lady he just didn't get a headshot.
Yeah, but he did shoot her before getting attacked, like, physically.
These guys at least aren't afraid to shoot, which is nice.
So he then someone comes in the other side, and he shoots at them. Like, that's when he's really panicked, because he Rambo shoots.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
the hip fire, like, literally spraying back and forth.
Yeah. So then he winds up getting in the bathroom, and like they're breaking through the bathroom, and he actually
mentioned that a zombie like somehow like beat down this giant mahogany door with his fucking body.
See, it's probably a cheap thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can punch through a door.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the other guys, do they just have a heavier door in there? I don't know.
Okay, well, it wasn't like the bathroom door, I'm guessing, because I don't know.
No.
I know what you're talking about.
The door to the apartment. It literally came off its hinges. He just, like, the zombie, like, yeeted through it. And it's just me to say, go on.
Yeah, so doors, sometimes they're inconsistent. So anyway, he's looking in a mirror, and you're looking through his camera, and he actually kills himself. He puts a gun in his mouth and shoots him, and that was like a really good scene. Like, it's terrible when anyone kills themselves, but it's like knowing that they're demons or something like that. Even if they're just zombies, and you have a pistol left on you, and you just dumped an entire clip into a different one, and you've seen other ones getting shot and just stand right back up. He kills himself because, do you want to kill yourself or be ripped apart?
Right.
I think that was a really good scene, because it just shows like how human he is in it, and how human like they all can be, because it's like he's trapped and he has to just wait.
Right. Yeah, it's just one of those like one of those not necessarily entertainment value, but the art of a human being deep in despair.
So I'm going to, quickly just touch on the worst part of the film, which is the next scene.
Okay.
The kids.
Oh my god, they're so dumb.
Just like quick bullet points, hit on it.
So we cut to these kids this guy runs upstairs. They blow him away because they think he's a zombie. They throw his body they throw him over the ledge, just like in the first movie where that guy came down. They do that again. And I'm guessing that's either a callback or like a symmetry thing for the demon. But then a bunch of heads pop over the railing, look down, they look up at them, like, what are these kids doing here? And then we cut to these kids on a rooftop. They've got a sex doll. They're trying to make it fly with these shitty rockets they bought. And then, or it doesn't fly, by the way, in case you were wondering about that tidbit. And then a bunch of police come on the roof. One of them's got a fucking enormous sniper rifle. It's kind of awesome. But they tell them to evacuate. They're down on the street, milling in the crowd outside the apartment. They're debating whether to. Sorry, they catch this guy that is gonna sneak in with the other guy, the guy who got blown away, and the guy who's supposed to deliver the medicine to Carmen and Jennifer from the first movie, the little girl who who was patient zero, basically, human patient zero, I should say.
But what about the dog?
Don't worry about him. We never actually see him.
You see a picture of him. He's a German Shepherd.
You know, that's probably not a good thing for whoever was at the clinic where they were treating him, but
yeah.
But anyway, I don't know anything about that. Maybe that's the plot of the third one. I don't know. But so that guy and the fireman sneak in through the secret hatch thing that they brought up in the first movie but never used, which is the Chekhov's gun. And that was the thing I thought was really cool, the Chekhov's gun I was telling you about. Where they just reused something from the first movie that was seemingly put there for no reason because they never used it in the first movie.
Well,
So,
in the first movie, it could have been used as a despair point.
well, actually, no. They weren't able to get through it because they closed the shutter on that infected guy.
Exactly. That the despair point is they
And then
couldn't get there because of the infected.
They were forced up by the guy. So anyway, they come in through the textile workshop. There's a fireman, the guy who has the medicine, and these three kids, and one of them. Okay, so there's one that doesn't want to be there, one that's not doing anything to help the situation, and one that's actively going to get them all killed.
They're all terrible.
They're all terrible, basically. The girl is the only one with even like a reasonable amount of smarts, and I don't know why she went along with them in the first place, other than like just stick together.
They literally have a scene where she's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go," and the guy walks over and he's like, "Please," and then they cut the camera and then she goes.
So what probably happened is they probably got her to go along by just being they were gonna do it anyway. So she was like, "Well, God, I can't like let you guys die." But so they're in the building. They're fucking retarded. And they find a gun. They start playing around with it. They get caught.
Yeah, so at that point, the fireman, like, catches them. They yell at each other, go down. The hatch is sealed up because the police officers did seal up the hatch.
Oh, yeah, they were following them through the sewers because they caught the kids because they were being loud and being like, be quiet, they'll hear us. Or, like, yelling that in the echoey tunnel.
Then he goes up. The one with the medicine goes up. He gets shot, thrown down. And they're back to terrible... forgot to mention this. They're back to a phone camera, basically. Like, it's very, very, very shaky.
Hand camera that the kids have.
Yeah, it's super shaky.
I think that might be the operator, though, because remember that Rosso has it for a bit, and he's much better with it.
Exactly, but still, it's super shaky, and I don't like it. Because it makes me feel a little nauseous. With, like, not as bad as the first one, but it's terrible. Like, I don't like the kids. They're terrible. Like, the second we saw them, it was like, man, I hope these kids die. It's a horror film. We know they're going to die, but...
So, well, the thing I said about it when we were watching it is, I hate this in movies, but it's completely true.
Yeah.
Someone would be retarded enough to do this.
As a lighter example, scream fire and everyone will run over to watch it.
Yeah.
Why would... Just... Don't run towards the danger, run from the danger.
Yeah, exactly.
So at that point, there's a little back and forth between the two of them, as in the two groups, the SWAT and them, and then the kids are idiotic and let out.
Oh no, you forgot the part where Tito did the only redeemable thing in the movie.
What was that?
The SWAT guys find them in the apartment where Martos was. The demon tricks them, by the way, to get them to open Martos' door by making Martos fucking a little girl's voice. So they walk up to the door with the rosary and knife, and they're like, we should open this. And they open it, and Marto's just standing there, and they're just like, that's not a little girl. And then he attacks. How do they deal with him?
Oh, so,
Oh, right. He gets shot.
yeah, so the police officer is, nope, sorry, the firefighter is holding him back. He's like, shoot him in the head, shoot him in the head. So the girl's like, I don't know what to do. So everyone's shoving her as she has the gun, and she shoots the fireman right in the fucking head.
I personally, it's awful, but I think it was hilarious just because of how the scene played out. Like, you were like, oh, she's gonna shoot him, isn't she? And
Yeah.
like, she's standing like 6 inches away, and she wasn't even jostling.
No,
that
she's a good 2-3 feet.
Okay, well,
But
that's
still.
Like, guns shooting straight lines.
It just made me hate the kids more. I understand the situation, but they were annoying to begin with, and then they fuck up again. And it's just...
She just shot the fireman like literally in the eye, and then even the demon was like, "What?"
Yeah. So this part was hilarious. The demon like looks at the guy who just got shot in the head, looks at her, and it's like, "Excuse me, we have a quota to meet. That was my kill." She then kills him. The other guys run over, and she's like, "Oh my god, I killed him!" And then the kid's like, "I was bit."
The SWAT find them, and they're like, Tito was bit, and the SWAT are like, perfect, we can interrogate you like we tried to do. Which is another thing we left out, but you have to watch the movie. They're interrogating the demons by holding up the cross at them and trying to find out where Demon Prime is, which is the thing in the attic.
Yeah, the creepy lady thing that I showed a picture of.
But anyway, from Tito, they learn 2 things. They learn that the lady's still in the penthouse, and they learn that they have to turn off the lights to get to the truth.
So they go up there, and how do you see without lights on? The same way they did it before. Infrared. They go there. They like look around.
The reporter from the first movie showed up when the SWAT found the kid. By the way, she has the camera from the first movie.
Yeah.
That's important because that one has night vision.
Also, to be honest, when you see the girl, so the first movie ends with her being dragged away. When you see the girl again, it's like, yeah. That's now good.
Yeah, so they make it up to the penthouse. They have to do some real Outlast shit, and it's genuinely really good and creepy. And the priest shows his balls again because he's just walking into the darkness.
Yeah, the priest is like, turn off the lights, I'll lead, basically. And it's like, what?
Turn off the lights, guide me.
So they actually do some really cool things in it where it's like, demons are cast out of light, like they're cast out of like God's graces, so light won't.
They're kept in prisons of darkness, so they have to use darkness to see into the prison or whatever.
Yeah, so they actually use night vision, and like the world changes with night vision sometimes.
They have to do some Outlast shit.
Yeah, so it's like there's a wall. If they use night vision, it's a door. And then like there's a room, and then there's I don't know why there's a bathtub, and the guy's like, hey, there's something in there. No shit.
And then he gets pulled in, and then
pulled in, they turn on the lights, and he's gone.
They hadn't turned on the light there, because then he wouldn't have disappeared. But anyway, now we're down to 3 heads. We're down to
camera, girl, priest.
Camera, girl, priest.
So they go through it, and they manage to like see her. They get away from her, and then the priest is like, no, we need her blood sample. He's been trying to get her blood sample the whole time. And the reporter is like, fuck this shit, and shoots the demon in the head, and she's like, we need to get the fuck out.
Which is awesome, because she was like, puta, which means bitch, by the way.
Yeah.
So, like, you bitch!
So, like, beating the shit out of her, and then she's like, we're getting out of here now. And the priest is like, no, I needed that blood sample, not till whatever. So, the girl just starts beating the shit out of the priest, because he needed voice recognition to get out. He's the team leader, they're not going to leave without his okay. So they go through that. She beats the shit out of him. He's like, I'm not leaving. The camera guy's like, whoa, chill out, we don't want to. And then she shoots him in the head, Or she
Which is
shoots
also
him and he
kind of awesome
dies.
because she's just like, shut up.
Yeah, she's like, shut up, boom. And it's like, I think they may have actually hinted at a part, because while watching, I said, look at her eyes, because it looked like her eye was all black.
I didn't see what he was
It was
talking
a
about.
very, very quick scene, and they didn't show it again.
I mean,
It could have
when I
been
was
a
watching it
shadow.
the first time, I was like, this girl's possessed, I think. And then, like, when you get to that scene where she shoots the cameraman, you're like, I think this girl might be possessed.
So she's like, priest, give me the answers. And he's like,
No.
fuck no, you bitch.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
So it was very cool. And then this is, in my opinion, the weakest part of the film, is literally the ending
other
of
part
it.
was the weakest part of the film.
That part, okay, you know what? Because the kids got introduced and then they died, I don't feel so bad.
Okay.
But to me, the worst part of the film, weakest part, was the kids, because it was like filler, because they actually like repeated a couple scenes but from a different angle. So they go to the.
Well, it was to keep the timeline intact, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. But so they go to her, and she's like, the priest, like, before she is.
How did you survive?
He's like, how did you survive? And it's like, there you go. He knows. And it from that point, she changes her voice, which to his voice says, let's get out.
Which is another Chekhov's gun, because they did that earlier in the movie twice.
Yeah. But at that point, it was like, so she gets out. The demon is transferred, or the host. The original body is transferred through a parasite. It's like a maggot.
It's a huge, disgusting worm, and they do it by mouth to mouth. It's gross.
One, why would the like original host, why did she never do that? Two, so the girl says only one survivor, the me, as in the priest, because she's using his voice, is going to stay behind because I was infected, burn the whole place down, only the reporter's getting out.
Mm-hmm.
So it, like, literally, it's another one of those things where it's like, ha ha ha, we have a sequel.
Well, I thought it was less of the first one, where there were too many unanswered questions, because there's a difference between unanswered questions and potential, or I mean possible outcomes.
I don't know, to me,
The first one was unanswered questions, the second one was this could go really badly.
Well, okay, so all she has to do is bite someone to infect them.
Mm-hmm.
So she can infect the world now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not contained anymore. That's kind of dumb.
I mean, I view it as a kind of an open ending, so. Well, it's an open ending, but it's not one that necessarily needs more, right?
Yeah, but okay. So you're saying it doesn't need more, but it's also like, it's the same thing that a lot of the slasher films do.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last second of the film, hey, look, Jason's still alive, even though they literally just killed him. Hey, look, Freddy's still alive.
Okay, so, I mean, I've been thinking about this the entire time, and here's what I think, right? I think that Rec 1 and 2 is where the original like plan, and the guys who made it, the writer, director, producer, whatever, whoever was the creative force behind the project, Rec 1 and 2, that was it. They were done after that. And then the studio kept doing it to milk it.
But he wrote the ending as, let's have a sequel type of thing. I don't like those.
Well, we don't know that. There could have been studio interference.
There could have. But how the movie is written is, there's, look, hey, look, we could have a sequel. And I don't like that. Yes, a movie should have you asking questions. That doesn't have me asking questions or talking about it. It's, hey, look, lol, let's have a sequel, because all of it was pointless. The demon can just go infect people.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, so besides that, and I know I'm very negative on the ending of it, the priest, highlight of the movie, awesome. The camera's much better done. I get it, shaky cam, but it's not fun watching shaky cam. So it was much better done in this one. It was a good movie.
Overall, a very satisfying movie. The with the perspective of the second one, I would recommend watching them back to back because they're really two parts of one whole. And watching them
Absolutely.
together lets you appreciate like the care that went into assembling these movies.
So those were our thoughts on Rec 2. Is there something you want to see us watch next? Let us know in the comments.
We'll think it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then you'll get mad at us.
But if you give us a terrible movie, we'll think it's great, and you'll be mad at us anyway.
No, you think terrible movies are terrible.
Yeah, I do. Because terrible movies are terrible. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you all in the next time. Bye.